Hey, 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 family. What's going on? It's your girl, Dr. V. Great morning, great morning, great morning. Listen, we are almost in November. Where y'all at? Come on in, come on in. Let's talk. Let's talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it. Have a word from the Lord for the month of November. Come on in, come on in. And let me share what he's downloading to me with you. Great morning. Hey, you guys. Come on, come on. Look, okay. So, you know, listen, I'm going to tell y'all this. And some of you, for you, it'll be a confirmation of what God has been saying to you. Okay. And I've said this before, but right now there's a huge press in the spirit for God's people to get this, to really understand what he's doing, and that things are not accidental, and the things that they're encountering are actually answers to questions, solutions to problems. So a lot of times when we are doing life, there are things that we encounter. There are challenges that we encounter. There are struggles that we encounter. There are things that we encounter. But listen, can I tell you this? That God has us in a place and in a season where he is literally trying to get things into our hands, literally trying to get things into our hands. And so as he's trying to get things into our hands, he will use different situations and circumstances to connect us with certain people, or expose us to certain things, or to uh, provide us with exposure, right? That exposure can be to people, places, things that we need in the next leg of our journey. October, I don't know. Listen, y'all, listen. Now, this was a different kind of harvest. Normally when you think of the harvest, you just think, oh, everything is just flowing. But let me tell you what God did for me. And then I'm going to talk about November, right? What God did for me was he connected me to the fields. Huh? He connected me to the fields, to the people and to the fields where the harvest is to come from. He connected me to the people and the fields from where the harvest is to come. And this is what he told me about November. He said, November is going to be your greatest month of Thanksgiving. November is going to be your greatest month of Thanksgiving. What does that mean, Dr. V? It means start thanking God now. Start thanking God now. Look, I often refer to the story of the lepers. Good morning, Artesia. I often refer to the lepers, the story of the lepers, the 10 lepers that came to Jesus and they said, heal us, heal us, heal us, right? And Jesus said, you're healed, go show yourself to the priest. So they went to show themselves to the priest, right? As they were on the journey, they were healed. Now, they were on the journey, but it was on the journey that they were healed. As they were on the journey, they were healed. But only one came back. Listen, God says that it is time to give thanks for the harvest. Thank him for the harvest. You might not see it in the natural yet. It might not be in your eyesight, but he said, thank me for the harvest in advance. It is in our gratitude, our thanksgiving, that God is going to move the greatest. There will be small pieces. We'll see bits of it. We'll get a taste of it. But the full blown thing is not coming until we're in a space of gratitude. Why is that? If our gratitude to God is only contingent upon seeing the massive result, then our gratitude is outcome based. But we ought to be grateful to him at all times. Grateful to him for everything. Like literally, I found myself the other day saying, God, if you don't do another thing in my life, I thank you, because he's done more than I ever expected. There's a song and it says more than I ever expected. He's done more than I ever expected. Listen, and that's exactly how I feel. Exactly, Artesia. Gratitude elevates your latitude, all levels. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, if you are expecting the harvest, you need to move like you're expecting the harvest. What does that mean? It means that you have to come out of the lack mentality. What's the lack mentality? Where you're focused on what you don't have instead of what you do have. What's not happened instead of what has happened and what you know is going to happen because God has promised it. So you've got to move like it's done even when you can't see it. Huh? You've got to move like it's done even when you can't see it. Even when you don't see it, even when you can't trace it, even when you don't know where it's coming from, you got to move like it's already done, like it's already been taken care of, like it's already been finalized, like it's already been knocked out the box, like you've already reached the accomplishment, like it's already done. You got to move like it's done and not wait till it's done. That's our challenge, because what we want to do is we want to wait till it's done and then move, okay, like it's done. Well, that doesn't take any faith. That doesn't require anything extra. It's easy to move like it's done when it's done. Listen, I just had anyway, a thought flashed through my head, right? But it takes something different. It takes faith. God is not moved by your tears. He's not moved. And when I say that, I want y'all to hear me. When I say God is not moved by your tears, what I mean is he's not moved by you just crying. He's not moved by you. That doesn't move his hand. His hand is moved by your gratitude, by your thankfulness, by your thanksgiving. That's why for me, Thanksgiving is, listen, the traditional Thanksgiving is not for me about the Pilgrims and the Indians. That's what they say. The Pilgrims and the people who already was here, the for real Americans, the Native Americans, right? It is about just taking a time during harvest season to show additional gratitude to the one who made the harvest possible, the one who opened the doors, the one who fertilizes the soil, the one who gives the rain, and the sunshine. The one who gives the rain and the sunshine. The one who gives the rain and the sunshine. See, we want it to always be sunny, but if it's always sunny, our crops will die. We don't want the rain because the rain is messy. It makes the dirt mud. The dirt is no longer easy to just walk on. Our shoes might get stuck on it, and some of it stuck in it, and some of it might get on our shoes. But can I tell you, it is the mud. It is in the mud that the seeds are most fertilized. It is in the mud that the water allows the nutrients in the soil to get into the seed, to allow the seed to be able to grow, to bloom, to blossom. It is in the death of the seed, the death of the seed, the death of the seed that life is emerged, that life emerges. And so we want the harvest. We want the growth. We want the blessings. We want all of that, but we want it in the sunshine without the rain. Well, it just does not work like that. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you'll stop forcing the cycle of nature to try to be something other than what it was created to be. There's a need. There's a need for the rain. There's a need for the death of the seed. There's a need for the sunshine. There's a need for the soil. There's a need for the ish. I know y'all don't want no ish in your life. I don't want no ish either. Like, who just says, oh, give me ish, give me ish, give me ish. No, listen, you're not running around here asking for ish. But can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? Baby, let me tell you something. When the ish shows up, this is what I know. Oh, it's about to be something, right? Either it's going to be some growth or some combustion. It's going to be growth or combustion. When the ish shows up, it's going to be some growth or some combustion. And the beautiful, amazing, incredible thing is you get to choose which one it is. You can choose for the ish to usher in growth or for the ish to usher in combustion. The choice is yours. Why is the choice mine, Dr. V? Because listen, I'm just minding my business. I didn't tell them to bring that ish to me. You didn't. But when God allowed the ish to come, he said, okay, baby, what you finna do with this? I just need to know what you gonna do with it. See, how you handle this and what you do with this is gonna determine how quickly you get to your next. How you handle this and how you deal with the ish that comes in your life determines how soon you get to your next. So I've had to grow up, right? And the grown up me has had to learn to deal with things, issues, and people a little differently. Just a little differently. There are times when I would naturally just snip, 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 right? Where God says, oh, this is not a snip. What? This is not a snip. So what do you do when it's not a snip? How do you handle it when it's not a snip? How do you handle the ish when it ain't a snip? $1,000,000 question, right? And that's the time when God sees your growth. That's the time that he grows you, matures you, allows you to die that he might live. Because, honey, sometimes it takes God to deal with people. It takes God to deal with people. And there is. And so you got to rely on him, the unadulterated agape love of God to flow through you for you to handle it, to come out of it smelling not like ish, but smelling like roses because you chose not to engage in the ish. You dealt with the situation, but you didn't engage in the ish. So what you gonna do? $1,000,000 question. What you gonna do? Are you gonna get stuck in the ish and have it all over you and be smelling like it? Or are you gonna let God deal with the ish and you deal with the it? Are you gonna let yourself get caught up in dealing with the ish? Or are you going to let God deal with the ish and you deal with the it? Well, Dr. V, what is the it? The root? Huh? Oh, my God. In the midst of the ish is a root that you need to deal with. A root that is a trigger for you. A root that has been there for as long as you may remember. A root that is what's really been a major issue and a theme throughout your life. It's something that continually shows up. The root. The root. Let God deal with the ish. The ish has purpose, but you deal with the root. What is the root of this? The it. What is the root of this? What is the root that I need to deal with? What is it that I need to face? What is it that I need to address? What is it that I need to see for what it is? What is that? That thing right there. That thing. That thing that's uncomfortable to me. That thing that I don't like. That thing that hurt me in the past. That thing. That thing. That's the it. The ish is designed to point you to the root. How can you find the it if you can't locate it? Well, sometimes the ish allows you to smell where it's located. I know. Y'all listen. November is a month where it's time to get grateful. Grateful for the people, situations, and circumstances that show up in your life. Come on now. Come on now. Listen. Y'all listen. November is a month where it's time to get grateful for the people, the situations, the circumstances, the challenges, the obstacles, the things in your life that have you've not seen as very positive, that you have found yourself complaining about, that you have found yourself overwhelmed about, that you have found yourself like, I don't know, like those things. Those things I want y'all to hear me. Those things. To be released. To be released so that you can operate in a level of thanksgiving that is unhindered by unforgiveness, by rejection, by abandonment, by fear of failure, fear of success, fear of moving forward, where all of those things that have hindered you, not thinking you're good enough, where all of that stuff can be moved out of the way so there can be a free what flow in your life. God is taking you to a place of flow. And what you're going to discover is that as you flow, you may run into some obstructions, right? Those obstructions are things that have come up so that you can move them out of the way. And when you move them out of the way, they're going to be moved permanently. In the Bible, in the book of Genesis, when the children of Israel have left Pharaoh, they've left Pharaoh, they finally have their freedom and they are on their way and they found themselves running away from Egypt. They're getting away from Egypt, the place where they were taken care of, even though they were enslaved. They were taken care of. They knew where their meals were coming from. And they found themselves running away, and Moses is guiding them and leading them. And all of a sudden, they come to water. They come to water, not a little bit of water. It wasn't a puddle. It wasn't a reservoir. It wasn't a pond. It wasn't a lake. This was a river. A river. They're at the river and they've got the river in front of them and they've got the Egyptians behind them, right? And it looks like there's no way out. It looks like there's no place to go. It looks like there's nothing for them. It looks like it. But baby, can I tell you what God did? It looked like they were in an impossible situation, but with God, nothing is impossible. And with him, everything is possible. So here they are with the river in front of them and the Egyptians behind them in chariots and on horses and with arms and all of this stuff. And they don't have arms, they got food and children and stuff and livestock. And so here they are. Listen, y'all, listen to me. Here they are in what looks like an impossible situation. When God speaks to Moses and says, lift your staff and touch the water. He didn't say, slam the water. He didn't say, shh the water. He said, touch. And when he touched, the water was parted. What does that mean for us? Because not only was the water parted, but the ground underneath the water in the river was dry. In your impossible situation, in your impossible situation, where it looks like there is a river in front of you and the Egyptians are behind you and they're coming in chariots and with weapons, fret not, because our daddy is getting ready to open the river and allow us to walk across on dry ground. November is our dry ground. It's our dry ground month. It's our month for us to come out of the impossible, for him to make a pathway for us to come out of the impossible. And this is what he's going to do. In the month of November, you're going to draw to you the answers that you need for your situations and circumstances. He's going to connect you with people. There are going to be events. There are going to be situations that arise. You're going to encounter products that are going to be the solution to your problem. Because see, this is what he's done. He's been giving you bits and pieces, bits and pieces, bits and pieces But now he's getting ready to create the path. He's been giving you bits and pieces, putting the fields in place, but now he's giving you the path to come out of your impossible to go into your harvest full-time. Full-time harvest. That's what I hear. Full-time harvest. Full-time harvest. Full-time harvest. Full-time harvest. Full-time harvest. Not part-time. Full-time harvest. You're going to harvest in multiple fields. You're going to harvest. But listen. Everything has been necessary to get you to this place so that you can have your back up against the wall. Why? Because now you're going to know that you know that you know. It wasn't people. It was God. And the people who he would normally use to help you, he's going to not allow them to help you. Because it's time for you to know that your soul source is him. Soul source. Not your job, not your retirement, not your social security, not your husband, not your wife, not your mother, not your father. Him. Not an agency, him. Not an ex, him. Not your friends, him. Not your aunt, him. He's your soul source. So check this out. Does that mean he's not going to use people? It doesn't mean that, but it's not going to be the people you expect. If he uses people, it's not going to be the people that you expect. So don't get angry at people. It's not them. God is blocking stuff. So as he's blocking, listen, understand that it may feel like you locked up, like you backed up in a corner, like you got the river in front of you and you've got the army behind you. But don't you stop. Listen to God for instructions. He's going to give you instructions on what to do. Do that and watch what God does. I promise you, he's getting ready to change your life eternally. That's what this one is for. This one is for the long haul. This one is for a lifetime. This is that, like, it ain't no going back after this. That's what this one is. But it requires that you have some ish encounter your life and you get to the root of it and you allow God to handle the ish and you deal with the root, right? So that you can then be free from entanglements to be able to walk fully forward into this next book, this next volume of your life. And I promise you, eyes have not seen, nor ears heard, nor has it entered into the hearts of man, the things that God has prepared for you. November, dry ground, month of the impossible, month of the I'm possible, month of the I'm possible. You are possible, and everything God has promised you is to. So stay tuned. November, loaded. So what are you doing to close out the month of October? What do you need to finish up? What do you need to get done with? I suggest that you do just that and watch how God moves in your life. Listen, I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day, knowing that anything that God allows to come your way, he's already equipped you to pass that test. Pass it, sis. Pass it, bruh. He just waiting on you to pass so he can say, what? Job well done. I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day. Be blessed.